The barren land of the demon realm was vast and boundless, with countless groups of demon beasts. The barren land of the demon realm was vast and boundless, with countless groups of demon beasts. Similar to how the verdant gazelle palace guarded its territory, several powerful demon beasts dominated the land around the White Tiger Castle. Additionally, battles happened constantly between different demon clans. The strong devoured the weak, and the strong ultimately survived. No matter how these monsters fought, they needed to obey the order of the demon emperor of the Celestial Demon City. The Celestial Demon City was the largest in this boundless area, as well as the ruling regime of this territory. They guarded the territory closest to the world of human cultivators and attracted the most powerful demon beasts nearby. At that moment, Futian and his companions were steering their swords and flying in the air at the outskirt of Celestial Demon City. The verdant gazelle palace lord and Qingyang he also accompanied them. The Celestial Demon City is ahead, the verdant gazelle palace lord said, pointing forward. Futian looked at the magnificent city. Compared to human cities, this demon city had a more primitive atmosphere. It was not very delicate but looked majestic, with buildings directly piled up by giant stones. The demon aura is so strong. Futian looked up at the sky above the Celestial Demon City. An appalling demon aura enveloped the boundless sky and earth as if nobody could cross the sky. As the main city of the demon realm closest to the heavenly mandate realm of human cultivators, the Celestial Demon City is the most dangerous area during times of war. Since aristocrats of demon clans are unwilling to stay here, the Celestial Demon City is often regarded as an exile destination within the demon realm. Some powerful demon beasts who had committed crimes were exiled and guarded here, said the verdant gazelle palace lord. So the 4 demon emperors who are now guarding the Celestial Demon City are all exiled? Futian asked. The verdant gazelle palace lord had introduced the 4 demon emperors of the Celestial Demon City to them. This Celestial Demon City was different from what he expected, not because this main city on the edge of the demon realm was weak with only 1 demon emperor. On the contrary, this demon city was as powerful as the Purple Underground sect. The 4 demon emperors used to be in charge of different places, but their descendants all convened here. I'm not sure why they came here, but rumor says that the Taotai demon emperor with a fierce temperament disobeyed orders and committed crimes. The demon emperor of the Thunder clan is said to be implicated in Emperor Yi Qing's affairs at that time, so it is unclear who the Feather Men clan offended. As for the overlord of the Celestial Demon City, he is believed to be extremely fierce, the verdant gazelle palace lord said. Futian looked surprised. He looked at the verdant gazelle palace lord and asked, "What is the relationship between the Thunder clan and Emperor Yi Qing?" "It is rumored that one of Emperor Yi Qing's mounts at that time was a thunder beast," the verdant gazelle palace lord replied. Suddenly, Futian's thoughts seemed to go back to many years ago, when the Thunder Dragon laid on the ground in front of the statue of Emperor Yi Qing in Qingzhou City. He remembered that his Thunder Dragon spirit appeared in the Qingzhou Academy that year, all because of a wisp of the Thunder Dragon's soul. All the monsters that were directly related to Emperor Yi Qing met terrible fates, and other powerful demon clans were silenced afterward. The overlord of the Celestial Demon City, Zhu Tian the Demon Emperor, is said to have a great relationship with the Ape clan. He might also be affected by this, the verdant gazelle palace lord continued. Futian listened carefully. The overlord of this Celestial Demon City was Zhu Yan the Demon Emperor, and the 3 royal demon clans serving under his throne were the Taotai clan, the Thunder clan, and the Feather Men clan. These 4 demon emperors' descendants are all ill-tempered and domineering. The whole Celestial Demon City is under their orders. Once we enter the Celestial Demon City, try not to offend them, the verdant gazelle palace lord reminded. Among the 4 demon emperors' descendants, Zhu Yan the Demon Emperor was the most influential. Ordinary demon beasts had shivers run up their spines upon hearing his name. They continued chatting and soon reached the Celestial Demon City and entered. Several demon beasts walked on the street of the Celestial Demon City amongst the horrifyingly demonic atmosphere. Many demon beasts that were walking resembled humans, while others were half-human half-beast. They had either a beast head and a human body or a human head and a beast body. For example, Futian just saw a fair-looking middle-aged man whose upper body appeared human, but his lower body resembled a white horse. The weird scene looked like a human was riding on a horse. Such scenes were common within the celestial demon city, and soon Futian began to get used to it. Demon beasts also had their preferences and lived their lives in different forms that they liked. Futian and his companions were human cultivators, but most of the demon beasts ignored them. Although there were far fewer human beings than demon beasts in the celestial demon city, it was common to see humans. Their presence was nothing special to demon beasts. Warriors of all forces should have reached the celestial demon city, Futian said. Although they set off directly after receiving the news, those influential figures shouldn't have departed later than them. When people enter the demon realm, their usual first stop is by the celestial demon city to inquire information. With so many cities in the demon realm, it's pointless to walk around aimlessly, the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord said with a nod. I have old friends in the celestial demon city. I'll take you there and ask if there is any news. All right, Futian said, nodding. It was much easier for them to be led by the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord. They soon arrived at a demon residence of the celestial demon city. The one they visited was a powerful demon beast. It had a human body but also a beast's head with 2 horns on top. Brother Qingyang, are these humans? The bull-headed demon beast asked the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord in a rough voice. Yes, the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord replied, nodding. They saved Qingyang his life. Otherwise my daughter he would have fallen into the hands of that white tiger. Sooner or later, I will get my revenge. That tiger's nature is ferocious and overbearing, so be careful, the bull-headed demon beast reminded, nodding. You may ask him questions, the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord said to Futian. Futian nodded and said, Sir, you must have heard about human cultivators of the heavenly mandate realm who had come here recently. Have you heard anything about Gu Tianxing in the celestial demon city? Nowadays there are many human cultivators in the celestial demon city, and most of them should be gathering in the celestial demon arena. Demon Crown Prince Zhu Yan set up 3 demon matrices there for human cultivators to challenge. He will tell the news to those who succeed, but he'll also ask those who fail to leave behind their belongings and cultivation method. The bull demon said to Futian, You can go there if you want your answer, but I advise you to be mentally prepared. The Demon Crown Prince will personally go there and take charge, so you won't have any chance. If you want to try, you must be mentally prepared to submit all your belongings. So far, many people have tried only to have met terrible fates. Some people refused to hand things over and were beaten to death. Despite this is totally voluntary, and the rules have been set to follow. The Demon Crown Prince didn't force them, so, I see, Futian said, nodding. He had heard from the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord before that the demon beasts of the Zhu Yan demon clan were all quite obstinate, which he could tell from how they did things. If that is the case, we shouldn't stay here and bother you. We should go now. Futian showed his intention to leave, and the bull demon nodded, looked at the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord and said, I'll go with you. Sure, the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord answered, and they together departed. On their way, the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord said, the Demon Crown Prince Zhu Yan and the other 3 demon princes, also known as the 4 tyrants of the celestial demon city, are often found together. The Zhu Yan Demon Crown Prince may be violent, but he is also sincere and principled. Otherwise, the other 3 demon emperors' descendants wouldn't be willing to follow or be around him. The Zhu Yan Demon Crown Prince is also very talented. He probably set the rules so he could collect the top human cultivators' cultivation abilities and learn the essence from them, the bull demon said. He sounded as if he quite appreciated the Zhu Yan Demon Crown Prince. We demon beasts' abilities rely more on talents. From this perspective, there is much for us to learn from human cultivators, said the bull beast. The Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord nodded. Had he not focused on acquisition, he would never have become as achieved as he currently was. However, some top powerful demon beasts were born with unparalleled talent. As they talked, they quickly headed straight to the central area of the Celestial Demon City. The Celestial Demon City was the main demon city in the vast and boundless district. The Celestial Demon Arena was located in the central area of the Celestial Demon City. At the moment, this area was full of human practitioners and demon beasts. A person was soon shaken out from the celestial demon arena and fell to the ground. Suddenly, appalling roars came from the area, from which one could tell the demon beasts were very excited. His human companions were very embarrassed. These people were cultivators of Purple Underground Sect, one of the 8 Thunder Law Orthodox sects in the Violet Heavenly Palace. Zhang Chongqing was also in the crowd, his face sullen upon watching the scene unfold. "Stupid animals," Zhang Chongqing whispered coldly. He raised his head and looked towards the celestial demon arena. 3 figures sat beside one another on the stairs in front of the celestial demon arena. On the left side was a Taotai big monster, with a human head and Taoye's body. His huge body leaned there lazily, but his eyes looked extremely fierce. In the middle sat a beautiful woman with a pair of pure white wings behind her. She was the princess of the Feathermen clan. The demon beast hovering around to the right had a human head and a dragon's body, with horns and long beards on his head that looked overbearing. He was the prince of the Thunder God clan. Right above them, a body in flames leaned lazily on a throne. He looked like an ape and appeared there in the form of his original body. His eyes seemed to contain golden fire. His lazy gaze swept down, making him look arrogant. He was the Zhu Yen Demon Crown Prince. "Can you do it or not?" The Zhu Yen Demon Crown Prince took a contemptuous glance down at the human cultivators below and asked in a disdainful tone. The prince of the Thunder God clan sitting below him said, "So far, I haven't seen any qualified warriors yet. We haven't even challenged you in person yet, but you still can't do it?" His voice was loud like thunder, his words resounding between the sky and earth like thunder. There were even wisps of thunder wills permeating in the air, emitting purple thunder aura. The Taotai made a deep roar and opened his mouth wide. The sight of it looked awful. Demon beasts below them were thrilled to watch the scene unfold. The faces of Zhang Chongqing and other warriors turned even gloomier. In this case, only the top figures of the Violet Heavenly Palace could get rid of them. At that moment, a cultivator stepped into the vacant sky, looked at them above the stairs of the celestial demon arena, and said, "These 3 demon matrices are devised by many demon saints and performed like one. As challengers, we are put in a passive position when we enter the matrix. It is not fair for us." At that moment, a cultivator stepped into the vacant sky, looked at them above the stairs of the celestial demon arena, and said, "These 3 demon matrices are devised by many demon saints and performed like one. As challengers, we are put in a passive position when we enter the matrix. It is not fair for us." These 3 demon matrices respectively contained 3 different matrix methods targeting warriors of 3 different levels of Saint Plane: the Doctrine Saint, the True Self Saint, and the Unblemished Saint. The Nirvana Saint Plane was not included since Nirvana-level top demon beasts were also hard to find. Had the matrices not been in charge of 4 royal members of the demon clan, it would have been extremely difficult to make them so large. If you don't want to enter the matrices, fine, you can choose to challenge the 4 of us. Defeat us all and you can also pass, said the great demon beast of the Thunder God clan, its sonorous voice booming like thunder. The cultivator glanced at the 4 demon beasts in the sky. Their descendants were the so-called 4 tyrants of the celestial demon city, who were also extremely talented, especially the demon crown prince Zhu Yen. Upon inquiring about them, it was said that this crown prince was such a skilled fighter that all of the celestial demon city was under his control. Moreover, since those 4 demon beasts' planes were all very high, challenging them would mean being affected by their planes. One person had tried it before and ended up severely injured. If he failed to challenge the matrix, they would at least show him some mercy if he submitted his belongings and cultivation methods to them. The main thing was that their most core characters had not taken action because there was no absolute certainty. If they failed, they had to hand over something along with the cultivation methods they used. Before then, the Zhu Yao Demon Crown Prince killed those who refused to hand over the cultivation methods they used during the matrices. They couldn't even say anything. The rules had been set, and it was their territory. All they could do was obey. If they didn't comply, they couldn't blame anything for their deaths. At that moment, the The Zhu Yen demon crown prince got up lazily from the throne, stretched out like a human, and glanced down toward the warriors with a pair of golden eyes. He said, "It seems that you are not being serious today either. Fine, let's call it a day and continue the game tomorrow. You can go back and discuss what to do. If tomorrow you still behave like you did today, then please get out of my sight." The other 3 demon beasts followed him and stood up. The demon matrices on the celestial demon arena were removed as they left. The human cultivators looked emotionless. The Zhu Yen demon crown prince was an extremely proud person, using them as training dummies while plundering their treasures and cultivation methods. I have heard that human beings are cautious by nature. It seems that it is true. Aren't all the 5 supreme forces in your human cultivation world here? The Zhu Yen demon crown prince jeered. He swept his eyes to the crowd and soon left. Demon beasts of the demon clan were all thrilled. The cultivators of the top forces in the human world must have been the most talented ones. It seemed that the demon crown prince of the celestial demon city was seeking the strongest opponent. In celestial demon city, the Zhu Yen demon crown prince was notorious for his fierce and tyrannical nature. Many monsters were in awe of him, but none of them could surpass him. Although this was the most famous main city in the demon realm that bordered the human world, everyone had heard that Zhu Yen the demon emperor was not a simple demon emperor. He was well known within the demon world as a powerful demon emperor. Had it not been for this, the other 3 demon emperors would not be so willing to follow him, leaving their offspring to follow the demon crown prince to spread chaos. "It seems that no one has received the news yet," said the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord. "Let's go visit the demon crown prince." "Qingyang, even though you are the head of the Verdant Gazelle Palace, the demon crown prince may not even bother." The bull demon beast said to the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord. "It's worth a try," the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord said nonchalantly. To him, there was little hope for Yi Futian to pass through the demon matrix. If he wanted to return the favor to Yi Futian, he could only visit the demon crown prince. As the lord of the Verdant Gazelle Palace within the celestial demon city, he served the demon emperor. He could at least talk with him. Of course, if he failed, all he would lose was his face. The Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord went to a side road, where the demon crown prince and his party were heading. After a while, they appeared below the stairs. The Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord cupped his hands and said, "Your Highnesses, Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord is here to salute you." The Crown Prince Zhu Yen fixed his golden eyes onto the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord. He said, "I have heard about the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord for a long time and have always wanted to meet you. What brings you here today?" It was said that the demon Crown Prince Zhu Yen was obstinate and ferocious, but he was by no means incompetent. He knew about many powerful demon beasts in the territory. The Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord was of the Nirvana Saint Plane, which was very rare among demon beasts. His fighting skills were also marvelous, which was worthy of learning from. The Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord looked toward the people around him, and immediately the Crown Prince Zhu Yen also noticed Yi Futian. "Human cultivators?" the demon Crown Prince Zhu Yen asked. "Yes," the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord said, nodding. "When my daughter was in a dangerous situation, these cultivators rescued her out of kindness. Thus, I ventured out here to inquire if your Highness could show mercy and reveal anything about the news." The Crown Prince Zhu Yen looked untroubled without reacting. "You want to return the favor to them, but you have seen what has happened today. Why bother to ask?" The Taotai demon beast next to him said. Although his skull resembled that of a human, his complexion still looked very ferocious. His beast body looked extremely tall and sturdy, giving him an intimidating appearance. The Crown Prince Zhu Yen waved his hand and said, "It's fine for the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord to ask, but they need to wait after the thing is gone." Speaking of them, he swept his golden eyes towards Yi Futian and others and said, "I know there are many merits to being human, but sometimes you are too clever and prefer to use surreptitious approaches. If you want news, you can go directly to the Celestial Demon Arena." Yi Futian looked at him and felt an almost divine flame burning from his eyes. The demon Crown Prince Zhu Yen Yao was just as the rumored said. He promised to answer the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord's request, but he didn't give a real answer. Once he finished speaking, The Zhu Yen crown prince turned around and left. The other demon princes all looked at him from behind. With his massive eyes, the demon prince of the Thunder God clan fiercely stared at Yi Futian. Yi Futian just looked at him with a smile and said nothing. Actually, he and the Thunder God clan had a long history. The prince of Thunder God clan seemed to have sensed the kindness in Yi Futian's eyes. With a doubtful look, he stared at him and then left. "Thank you, your highness," the verdant gazelle palace lord saluted and said behind them. The demon crown prince's promise was already a big favor to him. "Qingyang, his highness usually never agrees to such a request, but this time he did it. I guess he must have a good impression of you since he has heard of you before. If you didn't mention this request, maybe he will help you more in the future," the bull demon beast said. "For example, maybe he would let you cultivate with him." "It doesn't matter," the verdant gazelle palace lord said in apathy. He looked back at Yi Futian and said, "This is how the crown prince is. You don't need to worry too much about going to the matrix. Since the prince had said that he will talk about this once the thing is over, he has granted the request. Of course, if any human cultivator succeeds in passing the matrix and hears the news, it may spread by itself." "Indeed," Yi Futian said, nodding. "Anyway, thanks a lot, sir." He knew that just now the bull beast demon was actually talking to him. The demon beasts in the surrounding area gradually all dispersed. Nearby was a group of people standing there and looking this way. Yi Futian seemed to be aware of it. He turned his eyes and saw several people there looking at him. They were from the Purple Underground sect. Zhang Chongqing was also there. Somewhat unexpectedly, he encountered Yi Futian here. Was Yi Futian also inquiring about his brother? "It seems that you are not only talented in thunder laws but also very clever," Zhang Chongqing said. They were all finding solutions in unraveling the demon matrix, but Yi Futian was unusual. He got into the game by asking a demon beast for help. This way, he learned of the news from the demon crown prince. There was irony in his tone. The demon crown prince was rather abrasive towards them, and the demon matrices were obviously aimed at dealing with them. Even so, Yi Futian tried to flatter the demon crown prince, and he disdained the behavior. Yi Futian glanced at him with no reply. Just then, a group of warriors came, all of whom were from the 8 Orthodox forces. "Zhang Chongqing, who is this?" someone asked. "The person who broke the record of the Wutu Divine Mountain, Yi Futian," Zhang Chongqing replied. There were strange looks on all their faces. Some people even released fighting will from their bodies. People of the 8 Orthodox sects were all talented cultivators in thunder laws. When the 8 great divine mountains were opened, many people were there. Among them was only one person who broke a record like Yi Futian. Some of them even tried once the last time when the divine mountains were opened. Yi Futian, the person in front of them who broke the record, could be said to not only have surpassed all the cultivators who entered the Wutu Divine Mountain but even almost outperformed all challengers of the 8 divine mountains. Even though Yi Futian was not taken as a disciple by the Purple Underground sect because of Gu Tianxing's appearance that day, his name still weighed enough for all warriors of the 8 Thunder Law Orthodox sects to have at least known his name. Seeing him in person was no better than hearing his name, someone said in slight disappointment. They all wanted to see what kind of person could break the record of the Divine Mountain, reject the invitation of Purple Underground sect, and even the Violet Heavenly Palace. Now that they saw him, they discovered that Yi Futian wanted to flatter the demon clan. They no longer thought well of Yi Futian. Seeing this scene, the Verdant Gazelle Palace lord looked toward Yi Futian with amazement. It seemed that Yi Futian was also renowned among human cultivators, or he wouldn't have attracted so many people. His decision to visit the Demon Crown Prince earned him some criticism that affected his reputation. He just wanted to return Yi Futian's favor, but the situation was now what he expected. Everyone has their own choice. "Let's go and discuss how to pass the demon matrices tomorrow," another person said in a calm tone. Yi Futian was just a passenger to them, and he didn't have much effect on their states of mind. What was imperative now was to break the demon matrices. People nodded and gradually departed, flashing away from the scene. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Futian did not care much about others' opinions. The Violet Heavenly Palace prevented him from using thunder laws, so he wouldn't run into those thunder law cultivators in the future. Futian did not care much about others' opinions. The Violet Heavenly Palace prevented him from using thunder laws, so he wouldn't run into those thunder law cultivators in the future. It didn't matter what others thought of him. "It seems that I have brought you trouble," the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord said to Futian, standing at his side. What he did seemed to have some influence on Futian. "It doesn't matter. Sir, please don't pay it any mind," Futian replied. He understood what the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord meant. He was trying to help him, so no matter whether it worked or out, it was a favor. Besides, he held no hostility towards those demon princes. This was the demon realm's territory. Instead of harming any cultivators who came here, they set up a demon matrix in the celestial demon arena for those who wanted to challenge. It would have been the same if demon beasts came to the world of human cultivators. It was perhaps because of Emperor Yi Qing and the old dragon that he even felt close to the fierce-looking Thunder God clan. "Let's find a place to rest first and come again tomorrow," Futian said. Soon the whole group left. The group of demon beasts and the group of human cultivators scattered. After leaving, many human cultivators gathered to prepare to break the demon matrix. These 3 demon matrices were carefully designed by the 4 demon royal clans of the celestial demon city to be challenging to pass. Unless they were the warriors of the highest forces like the Violet Heavenly Palace, anyone who challenged it alone would fail. If they instead united as one, their chances of breaking the matrix would have increased. The Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord helped Futian find a place to settle. In the courtyard, they sat there and casually spoke to each other with Qingyang he also present. She kept asking Futian about their cultivation methods, then eventually talked mostly with Qi Xiangang. She discovered that among these people, Qi Xianzhang was the most proficient in cultivation practice. "Miss Qingyang likes to learn," Futian said with a smile. "She always wanted to go to the human world for cultivation, but I don't allow her because it is too risky. Now that she has met you, she would never pass up this opportunity," the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord said with a smile. "I also have a demon beast friend, but he is very foppish and hates learning. He should be here today," Futian said, laughing. He and Little Condor could mentally connect with each other, so he knew he was on the way. The Demon Peacock Emperor took them here in person. Now they had reached the Heavenly Mandate Realm and were approaching the Demon Realm. It wouldn't have been long before they arrived. Xia Qingyuan suddenly turned her eyes to Futian and asked, "Is that guy coming?" Futian saw Xia Qingyuan's expression. What was that reaction? Why did it feel so weird? Thinking of Little Condor's tragic life in the Emperor Xia's palace, Futian didn't know how he would act upon seeing Xia Qingyuan again. Well, Demon Peacock Emperor His Majesty took them here personally. Little Condor said that the Demon Peacock Emperor His Majesty wanted to travel here too, Futian said. Demon Peacock Emperor had unified a large demon realm and claimed kingship there. He must have felt lonely sometimes. Here was the real domain of the demon clan. In other words, Kong Xian will also come, Xia Qingyuan said. Futian looked at her. Women's angle to observe things was always special. Was it because of Kong Xian's beauty after her transformation that made her feel uneasy? At that time, Xia Qingyuan and Kong Xian were compared by many people. They also attended the Battle of Empty Realm of the same year. Yes, Futian said, nodding. Xia Qingyuan's eyes moved away from Futian with a strange look. She thought to herself, what would Kong Xian be doing here? As the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord beside them heard their conversation, he began to feel that Futian was unusual. Even a demon emperor came here in person for him? It seemed that Futian was not simple at all. After a long while, Futian stayed in the courtyard and quietly cultivated. Suddenly, he opened his eyes and looked up into the distance, smiling. Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord's body flashed and soon he arrived. After some time, Qi Xiangang and Xia Qingyuan and others also came out. They all felt the presence of an unusual life force. A rush of life force came from a distance. Soon, a gust of wind passed by, and a group of people showed up in the sky above the courtyard. The man who took the lead had an unusual temperament. standing in the vacant sky with his hands behind his back. A slender, beautiful lady and a demon beast stood to the left and right to him, with plenty of warriors behind them. The demon peacock emperor was here. Yi Futian stood up and took a bow as a salute. Yi Futian is here to salute your majesty. Your majesty, Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord and the warriors saluted. They all needed to show respect for a figure of the demon emperor level. The demon peacock emperor nodded slightly and said, I didn't expect that you would come to the territory of the demon realm. During this trip, I sent Kong Xian and Condor here. Kong Xian can stay with you for some time, while I go somewhere in the demon realm. Yi Futian answered and nodded. The demon peacock emperor must have also been acquainted with some other demon emperors. Take care of the princess, the demon peacock emperor said to the demon beasts behind him. Afterward, he lifted the sleeve and shined the divine light, allowing him to instantly vanish. After the demon peacock emperor left, Black-winged Condor turned his head to confirm that he had already left. Seeing he had left, the condor finally let out a breath. His sharp eyes blinked as he flapped his wings and flew in front of Yi Futian. He said, Boss, did you miss me? Do you think I did? Yi Futian said, smiling. Why don't you transform? Little Condor now was a demon saint. He had become a big demon beast. Nah, my human face is too handsome and will outshine yours, said the black-winged Condor laughing. Yi Futian smiled. He was cheeky as always. Black-winged Condor looked at Xia Qingyan and said, Haven't seen you in so long, Your Highness. You still look as stunning. He keenly looked around her to make sure no warriors of the Emperor Xia's realm were around. After he confirmed this, he added, and manly as always. Xia Qingyan raised her eyelids and blankly glanced at Black-winged Condor. He had gained more confidence since he became a demon saint. Where is Your Highness's Mount Green Phoenix? I was planning on talking with him about life, said Black-winged Condor, gritting his teeth. He could never forget the humiliation of being repeatedly ridden. He had sworn he must ride on it one day. You can go to Emperor Xia's palace and talk with it when you have time, Xia Qingyan said with a disdainful look. Sure, Black-winged Condor replied pretentiously. He took a glance back at Kong Xian and then said to Yi Futian, Oh yeah, boss, Princess Kong Xian missed you so much. She kept asking me when I would come to you. Had it not been for Princess Kong Xian, I would have been cultivating for a longer time. Yi Futian was dumbfounded. This bastard. Behind him, Kong Xian was also speechless. Since when did she always want to come to Yi Futian? What was he talking about? Don't listen to his nonsense, Kong Xian said coldly. This guy was too. Yi Futian was also speechless. He knew enough about Little Condor's character to think he did it for a reason. It's not nonsense. Didn't Her Highness always miss my master when she was in the Demon Emperor realm? Her Highness talked about my master in front of His Majesty every day, about how outstanding my master's talent is and how she hoped to go outside for cultivation. Otherwise, why did His Majesty leave directly after he escorted Princess here? Black-winged Condor said seriously. His Majesty was trying to create this opportunity for Her Highness. Kong Xian was dumbfounded. How could he tell lies like this? Just then, Xia Qingyan suddenly cut in. You have entered the Saint Plane and become a saint in the Demon Emperor's realm. You must have made great progress. Black-winged Condor raised his head and said proudly, Of course. Let me test how your cultivation abilities have grown over these years for your master, Xia Qingyan said, walking towards Black-winged Condor. Black-winged Condor still held his head high, thinking he wasn't a coward. Did she think he was still the same as before? Light flashed by, and a divine instrument showed up in Xia Qingyan's hand. It was a dazzling golden lotus flower, and the life force emitting from it contained a wisp of Renhuang will. The might shrouded Black-winged Condor's body. Black-winged Condor blinked and staring at Xia Qingyan with a stunned look. Your Highness, what do you mean? Since Lord Condor's talent is so outstanding, I have to choose a special way to test your ability, Xia Qingyan said coldly. Black-winged Condor felt the pressure and nearly cried. His proud look suddenly disappeared as he said, I haven't seen Princess Qingyan for so many years, but you still look so gorgeous. Your beauty is unparalleled among the 3,000 realms of the Great Law. Ahem. The verdant gazelle palace lord remained there quietly, but he could no longer help making the sound. This guy was bizarre. Yi Futian rubbed his head, feeling a little embarrassed. Xia Qingyuan didn't just let Black Wind Condor go and walked towards him step by step. Black Wind Condor and hid behind Yi Futian while shivering. Slap. Yi Futian slapped him on the head and admonished, "If you talk nonsense again, we will have bird barbecue tonight." Black Wind Condor looked at Yi Futian pitifully. Had this woman taken away his master's heart when the condor was not here? This brat is getting more and more undisciplined. Don't take it personally, Yi Futian said to Xia Qingyuan. Xia Qingyuan looked at Yi Futian and put away the divine instrument before coldly glancing at Black Wind Condor. At that moment, Black Wind Condor had transformed into a human form. Yi Futian turned back to see him looking like a young man with a sharp mouth, a long nose, and a protruding forehead. "You can just turn back, please," said Yi Futian. He couldn't bear to look at this guy's hideous face. Even so, his face astounded him. Black Wind Condor was confused. He might have not been as handsome as his master, but was he that hideous? With this in mind, he turned his human head into the condor head but kept the human body. Yi Futian nodded and said, "This is much more pleasing to our eyes." Black Wind Condor was speechless. Someone patted Black Wind Condor's shoulder and said, "You are the most special transformed demon beast that I have ever seen." Irritated, Lord Condor turned around wanting to teach him a lesson, but suddenly fell quiet when he saw the person's face. "Sir, since when did you begin to make jokes?" "Okay, behave yourself from now on," Yi Futian said. He looked at Kong Xian and said, "Thank you and your majesty for taking care of him over these years." "No worries," said Kong Xian, shaking her head. "In return, may I stay with you for a while?" "Of course, you can," Black Wind Condor cut in quickly but chose to not speak upon meeting Xia Qingyuan's cold glances. "Isn't it better to have Her Highness help us?" Yi Futian said, laughing. Kong Xian also brought plenty of warriors with her that could help each other. Since they also belonged to the demon clan, it would have also been more convenient to travel with them in this territory. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Early the next morning, several demon beasts and human cultivators had convened at the Celestial Demon Arena in the central district of the Celestial Demon City. Early the next morning, several demon beasts and human cultivators had convened at the Celestial Demon Arena in the central district of the Celestial Demon City. Large demon beasts with all kinds of strange appearances were the most prominent amongst the massive crowd, their thick demonic aura permeating the air. However, the human cultivators who came here were also of Saint Plane and were unaffected by the aura, even though they were not as comfortable in the realm of demon beasts as they were in their own world. Warriors of the 8 Thunder Law Orthodox forces had also arrived and gathered in the same area, and behind them were more warriors from various parties of the Heavenly Mandate realm. A few powerful cultivators had also arrived and stayed in other locations. For example, somewhere far away in the sky, some warriors were standing above the clouds, overlooking everything below them. Their eyes were keen, and the light of thunder reflected off from their bodies. Some warriors stood far behind the crowd and kept their distance from others. They were all gorgeous female cultivators with an unusual temperament. Several figures also stood somewhere else. They all looked aloof and watched toward the Celestial Demon Arena in the distance. However, there were many warriors nearby circling them at the center. It seemed that they were just watching from a distance and didn't want to get involved. Although the Celestial Demon City was huge in the demon realm and being guarded by Zhu Yan the Demon Emperor and 3 other demon emperors, its level was still far from enough compared with the top forces these warriors belonged to. The same was true for Zhu Yan Demon Crown Prince. It was still unclear if he was qualified to let them take action. In another direction, Yi Futian and others had also arrived and joined the crowd. This time, they had a stronger lineup. Kong Xian and other warriors from the Demon Peacock Emperor also joined the team. They joined the flow of people and looked up at the Celestial Demon Arena to find a group of warriors approaching them from afar. The 4 figures who took the lead were the Zhu Yan Demon Crown Prince and 3 other demon princes. Just like yesterday, the 4 demon royalties sat down in their seats. Zhu Yen Demon Crown Prince sat on the throne at the top of the stairs. He leaned there lazily, a pair of eyes containing golden flames sweeping towards the space. A demon beast behind him was whispering something in his ear. He glanced lazily around and found the airborne warriors in the distance, full of contempt in his eyes. He specially designed this demonic matrix to see how the strongest warriors of the human world were like, and these people wanted to get the news without doing anything? Impossible. He wanted to see who could break the demonic matrix. I'll give you another chance. If today is still as boring as before, then maybe you will not see me tomorrow. If you want to get the news, go somewhere else and explore by yourself. Zhu Yen Demon Crown Prince's voice was cold and slightly threatening. To get the news, they needed to show some sincerity. His time had been wasted by those who made tentative attempts a few days ago. He felt so bored. Although he received several things and cultivation methods from them, he didn't see them as all that valuable. Thus, he just awarded them to subordinates for enlightenment and practice. Ah! Below Zhu Yen Demon Crown Prince, the Prince of Thunder God Clan let out a dragon roar. Streaks of lightning thunder pierced across the void sky, rolls of thunder shook everyone's eardrums. Human cultivators all looked cold. Feeling rather presumptuous, the 4 demon beasts of the celestial demon city tried to provoke them again and again. Over the enormous celestial demon arena, the demonic matrices were in formation. Many demon beasts guarded the demonic matrix, their appalling demonic aura emitting from their bodies. At that moment, the crowd suddenly gave way to a group of warriors emerging from its center. They were from the 8 Thunder Law Orthodox sects. As they stepped down from the area below the celestial demon arena, demon beasts all gave way to them. They are all of the same levels. The 4 demon princes above the stairs of the celestial demon arena looked puzzled. These human cultivators were all true self-saints who had the same cultivation plane. They were clearly selected from multiple forces instead of just one sect. True self-saints correspondent matrix was one of the 3 matrices in the same demon level, the Demon Thunderdrum matrix arranged by warriors of the Thunder God clan. The other 2 demonic matrices left the vast celestial demon arena to warriors of the Thunder God clan. Large demon beasts of the Thunder God clan hovered over the arena and waited at different locations. Just then, a person jumped up to the celestial demon arena. He first stepped aside, put down a lot of storage rings in a line, and said, "These treasures and cultivation methods belong to me and the people behind me. I have lined them up in order. If one of us fails, you may take one from them." What is he doing? Demon beasts looked confused. Were the 8 Orthodox forces preparing to challenge the Demon Thunderdrum matrix one by one to tire them out? Put the storage rings aside first, the Zhu Yen Demon Crown Prince said slowly. A demon beast instantly stepped out and took all the storage rings away, much to the human cultivator's displeasure. "Don't worry. Since the rules have been set, I will return them to you as long as you made it. I won't covet your belongings," Zhu Yen Demon Crown Prince said nonchalantly. The cultivator in Thunder Law stepped in front of the celestial demonic matrix as the Crown Prince said, "Begin." Boom! The moment he spoke, a dazzling burst of fire and thunder broke out from that warrior's body. It was the intimidating solar thunder of Binghua, one of the 8 Orthodox Thunder Laws. A dazzling bird showed up behind him. It was his life spirit, a divine thunderbird called Thousand Thunderbird. The life spirit kept growing, covering the sky and hiding the sun. Its mouth spat out a stream of lightning and fire that directly darted toward the big demon beasts of the Thunder God clan. The big demon beasts roared and opened their wide mouths, releasing dazzling purple lightning bolts. They collided with the Thunderbird's solar thunder of flame and ignited the explosion of appalling light beams. Meanwhile, enormous bodies of the Thunder God warriors bathed in the appalling might of thunder. Rolls of lightning on their bodies fell, converging into a war drum of thunder on their abdomens. Warriors of the Thunder God clan spat out lightning while chanting in the language of dragons, causing the bolts to converge and crush on the war drum of thunder on their bellies. Boom! The aura of electricity overwhelmed the sky. The human warrior headed straight toward the demon beast, thrusting out his palm as it turned into a Thousand Thunderbird. His head shook violently as if the drum sound would shatter his soul into pieces. He groaned as the endless thunder from the war drum came. With a loud noise, his body was directly shaken by the shock and got burned by barely touching a warrior of the Thunder God clan. He looked miserable. Bolts of lightning shone above the sky, overshadowing the sky and sun. The scene was appalling. Another warrior from the 8th Thunder Law Orthodox forces rushed out, seemingly prepared for this. This time, human cultivators planned to make a series of shots without letting the opponents gain momentum, thus interrupting the attack of the Matrix. The Thunder Dragons of the Thunder God clan ascended into the clouds, their roars shaking the sky. The dragon's body was straight, and the endless thunder light converged in the sky. Among the 9 dragons, a larger war drum of thunder appeared. These dragons spat out divine thunder to the war drum at the same time. Suddenly, the war drum trembled the air. The incoming cultivator snorted and kept moving. However, the other side's attack did not stop. The thunder from the war drum contained the might that could even destroy the Great Law. It came down and penetrated the cultivator's body defense, throwing another cultivator away from the arena. It all happened within a few seconds. Their strategy seemed useless. The advantage of the demonic matrix was too conspicuous. "The matrix is stronger than it was yesterday," someone said. Warriors of the 8th Thunder Law Orthodox forces all looked gloomy. The matrix grew stronger when challengers were stronger. Yesterday, those cultivators made only a few tentative attempts. Was it now the demon beasts' turn to play around with them? These demon beasts were more cunning than expected. Soon, 4 cultivators had been knocked out. The crowd of the demon beasts scattered, their roars trembling the sky. The Thunder God clan isn't as prosperous as before, but they were once a very powerful demon clan. These selected demon beasts were all pure-blood outstanding warriors of the Thunder God clan. With the aid of the Matrix and the Law method, their overall power became more than several abilities simply being superposed. Warriors of Thunder God clan are strong beasts who charged headfirst into battle, the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord next to Futian said. In this kind of matrix, the 8th Thunder Law Orthodox forces don't have a chance to attack. The demon princes seem to be targeting those top figures, Qi Shengang said. The power of matrix superposition was much stronger than an individual's combat ability. Once the matrix was formed, there was no need to waste energy making tentative attacks. Simply attacking them directly with the most aggressive skills would have been the fastest way to victory. This was what the warriors of the Thunder God clan had always done. As more warriors were defeated, others who followed had lost their confidence. That's enough. Zhang Changqing stood together and looked toward the battlefield of Celestia Demon Arena. They knew they didn't have a chance. When the two sides' abilities were vastly different, even adopting the strategy of challenging each one individually still didn't work. Those who had not fought glanced back, looking quite uneasy. "If you don't fight, I will assume you have given in. But I can't return the things to you," Zhu Yan Demon Crown Prince said as he lazily leaned on the throne. He looked quite nonchalant, idly watching the people below. Zhang Changqing said nothing. That was why they took the things away at the beginning. The demonic matrix today was stronger than the one from yesterday, so the other 2 demonic matrices must have been just as powerful. In other words, it was extremely difficult to win by passing through the demonic matrices. The Zhu Yan Demon Crown Prince ignored Zhang Changqing and glanced towards the warriors standing in the distance. Why were they still waiting? He wanted to see how long these top forces of the human cultivation world could wait. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Zhang Changqing stood alongside the other warriors of the 8th Thunder Law Orthodox sects. This area was full of their people. Zhang Changqing stood alongside the other warriors of the 8th Thunder Law Orthodox sects. This area was full of their people. Zhu Yan Demon Crown Prince gave them 2 choices. Either break through the matrix or challenge the 4 demon princes. "If one won't work, we'll have to pick the other," someone whispered. There were 3 plain options of matrices for them to choose from. If they failed, they would not be in real danger. But if they chose to challenge those 4 demon beasts, Their only plane option was the true self-saint plane. These 4 demons were on the same level. 3 of them were true self-saint, and 1 of them the doctrine saint. Regardless of the doctrine saint female monster of the Feathermen clan, the 3 demon princes of the true self-saint were their main opponents. Since they had to conquer all of them to win, the challenge would have been too demanding. Moreover, the consequences of defeat would have been significant. Since the celestial demon city was the opponent's territory, the opponents could easily kill them. They didn't dare to take that risk. This battle was meant to be unfair, but all they could do was obey the opponent's rules. Among the 3 big demons, Zhu Yan Demon Crown Prince was the most intimidating one. So far he had yet to try. According to what they learned in the celestial demon city, however, Zhu Yan Demon Crown Prince's combat strength was astonishing. He was known as the strongest of his generation within the endless territory of the celestial demon city. In that case, it would have been both difficult and risky to defeat all 3 demon beasts. The previous strategy of challenging each opponent individually to tire them out might have worked. However, the warriors who first challenged and defeated them might have been seriously injured. "Let's go with the other plan," said Zhang Chongqing coldly. He didn't believe the united 8 Thunder Law Orthodoxy forces would have been defeated by the 4 demon princes of the celestial demon city. "Okay," people answered and nodded. Soon, a person stepped forward in front of the celestial demon arena with a solemn look. He flashed in the air and landed on the celestial demon arena. The man was wearing a golden robe, looking unusually handsome. He looked up toward the 4 demon beasts above the stairs of the celestial demon arena and said, "I am a disciple of the Golden Clan sect and am here to ask for fighting instructions from your highnesses." The Golden Clan sect was one of the 8 orthodox sects. Their disciples specialized in the perilous thunder of Gingjin and were famous for their aggressive attacks. The warrior who set foot on the celestial demon arena was an extraordinary disciple of the Golden Clan sect who accomplished so much in thunder laws. Above the stairs, the 4 big demons looked down toward him sullenly. "Third brother, you want to go?" Zhu Yan Demon Crown Prince asked the Taotai Big Demon Beast. "Sure." The Taotai Big Demon Beast opened his mouth and answered. He had a human face, but when he opened his mouth, it turned into that of a Taotai beast. It looked terrifying. Although he had a human head, he also had a Taoyes body complete with a tail. As his 4 hoofs stepped down, a ferocious life force emitted from his body. Taotai was considered a menacing kind of demon beast. When he stepped onto the celestial demon arena, his head also became that of a demon beast. Within a fierce aura, his sharp teeth appeared as horns grew from his head. He glanced toward that warrior in contempt as golden divine thunders shone on the Golden Clan cultivator's body, resonating with the sky and the earth. The bright golden light of catastrophe appeared in the vast space, covering the sky and hiding the sun. Boom! Golden lightning descended from the sky. An endless stream of sword-like golden beams of light split the void sky, crushing toward the Taotai Big Demon's body. Along with the celestial demon area, even the vast sky was filled with bright golden lightning rays. They hovered over each warrior's head, threatening several demon beasts. The Taotai Big Demon glanced at the other side and felt the might of the perilous thunder of Gingjin. As he let out a low roar, his body grew to the size of a mountain standing on the battlefield. One by one, some patterns resembling mouths appeared on his enlarged body. The Taotai Big Demon Beast claimed to be able to devour the great law of sky and earth. When the golden lightning of catastrophe fell, all the mouths on the mountainous body simultaneously opened. The demon aura engulfed the vast world and swallowed perilous thunder of Gingjin. Boom! He stepped on the area, facing forward, and roared again. A demon vortex appeared between the sky and earth, enveloped the Golden Clan warrior directly inside the vortex storm, trying to devour it. As golden lightning bolts exploded directly over the battle platform, the Golden Clan warrior rose to the sky with the power and removed the horrifying vortex. The demonic whirlpool continued spiraling upwards. The warrior looked emotionless as his life spirit bloomed behind him as a golden sword of catastrophe. He waved his palm, and the infinite perilous thunder of Gingjin in front of him integrated with the sword. Numerous golden divine swords suddenly appeared in the sky. The thunderous booms trembled everyone's eardrums. The divine thunder fell and the great laws became as one. In the middle was a golden sword that seemed capable of chopping down the 9 skies. Warriors of the 8 Thunder Law sects looked solemn. This time the selected challengers were outstanding top-level figures of true self-plane of the 8 sects. If they were defeated, they should have been able to retreat safely. Letting out a roar again, the gigantic demon beast Taotai, who had transformed back into a huge original beast, stood on his 4 hoofs, with big mouths open at the same time. A horrible demonic cloud storm appeared above the sky. The huge whirlpool seemed to want to swallow all the skies. The sky over the vast endless area was full of terrifying clouds. All the phantoms of the Taotai big demon beasts also ascended into the sky, devouring the converged golden divine swords in the sky. Cultivators of the golden sect looked solemn. Golden divine prints were drawn in their hands. The catastrophe thunder of the great law transformed into golden divine swords, piercing through the sky and opening up the world. At that moment, it seemed that all the golden divine swords in the 9 skies thrust down. The golden light rays enveloped the sky, emitting powerful energy. The battlefield was consumed by the perilous thunder of Gingjin and demonic whirlwinds. Rolls of booming sounds erupted above the sky, causing horrifying collisions that shook people's minds. Several golden divine swords seemed to be getting devoured as phantoms of the Taotai big demon beasts were also annihilated. The strongest golden divine sword thrust towards the Taotai beast's real body, igniting tens of thousands of afterglow rays in the sky. Warriors of the 8 sects looked somehow relieved. The battle was so intense because both sides had fought with all their might. Before, when they challenged the Matrix, they had their abilities restrained with no opportunity to be fully unleashed. Although the 4 demon princes were powerful, the matrices formed by numerous big demon beasts were far more threatening than their individual attacks. However, the risk of challenging them was greater. This demon prince hit hard. Sky-shattering sounds of collision erupted above the sky. Everyone stared at that side as a huge body descended and, following a boom, fell on the celestial demon arena and trembled it. It was the Taotai big demon beast, drenched in blood. On the other side, the warrior of the Golden Clan sect also flew out feebly before falling to the ground with his whole body also soaked with blood. Many warriors with strong abilities had witnessed the finishing blow. The strongest golden divine sword still failed to fatally wound the Taotai big demon beast and only gave him slight injuries. However, the warrior of Golden Clan sect was hit hard and severely injured. After all, the Taotai big demon beast was more powerful than the warrior of the Golden Clan sect. Demon beasts had a natural physical advantage, but human cultivators were better at cultivation methods. At that moment, a bolt of lightning flashed across the void sky as another warrior from the 8 Thunder Law Orthodox sects came to the arena. He tossed out a storage ring and immediately charged at the Taotai big demon beast, the lightning swiftly sweeping across the sky. Above the arena, Zhu Yen Demon Crown Prince frowned. Did they still want to try tiring them out? In the crowd, Futian had been watching this battle carefully. While the Taotai demon beast defeated that warrior in the first round, the 8 Thunder Law Orthodox sects were not common forces. If they kept sending elite warriors to fight, these 4 demon princes would be in trouble. As Futian had expected, the second battle was still merciless. The Taotai big demon beast still defeated the opponent but with some injuries. In the following battle, the Zhu Yen Demon Crown Prince let the Prince of Thunder God Clan replace the Taotai big demon beast. He was a better fighter than Taotai big demon beast, but the opponents he met were also menacing. After several consecutive battles, even the dragon scale armor of his original body was broken and stained with blood. Both he and his opponent were severely injured in battle, but the latter was taken out of the celestial demon arena. Another figure leaped up onto the arena, lightning illuminating the sky. A dragon's voice trembled in the sky like the sound of a war drum, and a huge thunder dragon hovered in the sky. "Second brother, come back." Just then, a voice came from above the stairs. When the Prince of the Thunder God Clan wanted to keep fighting, Zhu Yen Demon Crown Prince stood from the throne in the sky and stepped forward into the void sky. The prince of the Thunder God clan looked back, then returned his giant body to its previous state. He moved backward, leaving the battlefield to the Crown Prince. The warrior of the 8 Thunder Sects glanced up at the Zhu Yen Crown Prince walking in the void air. With golden flames blazing in his eyes, the Demon Crown Prince headed straight towards him. Thunder light shone from his body and collided with the golden divine fire shot down from the void sky, bright lightning surrounding him. Bang! Zhu Yao Demon Crown Prince took another step forward. The void sky trembled violently as if a mountain was about to drop down and oppress this side of the sky. He stretched out one palm, and endless golden divine fire converged into a huge stick. Bang! He stepped out again, like stepping on that human warrior's heart. As the divine fire approached, its sky-shattering might overwhelmed the warrior of Thunder Sect. He was not the only one. Countless warriors also felt the pressure. It was the first time that Zhu Yen Demon Crown Prince showed his ability. Bang! With another step forward, the Thunder Sect warrior's body soared straight into the sky, surrounded by the endless divine thunder. Just then, the long stick in the hands of Zhu Yen Demon Crown Prince slashed out. The long stick born from the golden divine fire suddenly grew and slashed down from the sky, covering the sky and hiding the sun as one stick cut through the sky. The Thunder Sect warrior's face suddenly turned pale, and his body turned into thousands of thunder shadows and moved in all directions. Under the might of the stick, the great law came down and slowed him down. Endless stick shadows fell all at once, smashing and collapsing all thunder shadows. Boom! A violent sound came out, and the time and space seemed to be frozen. The flashes of the stick stopped and turned into one. The Thunder Sect warrior's body was directly hit with a violent blow, and then he fell from the void sky feebly, constantly spitting out blood. With one blow, he was badly injured. Perhaps his trip would just end here, and he had to be taken back now. The Law of Stick. Futian took a glance at Zhu Yen Demon Crown Prince and murmured. The weapon looked quite familiar to him. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. The great demon beasts of Zhu Yen clan were known as soldier beasts, resembling belligerent apes. The great demon beasts of Zhu Yen clan were known as soldier beasts, resembling belligerent apes. It was said that Zhu Yen was a kind of ape. Before, the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord told Futian that the Zhu Yen clan might have been on good terms with the ape clan, and thus was implicated and exiled to the celestial demon city. At that moment, Futian felt a little familiar with this martial art of stick. The ape clan inherited the 81 strikes of heaven-traversing staff techniques. The 81 strikes of stick techniques were the foundation that the demon beasts of the ape clan could have their newfound knowledge based on, like the fact that the late Snow Ape Emperor created the 9 heavenly attacks based on the 81 strikes. However, this should have been considered his legacy, and Futian was the only person who inherited it and passed it on to the Golden Apes. Zhu Yan's martial art of stick was probably familiar to him because it was also derived from the stick techniques of the ape clan, with absolutely overbearing power. It seemed that the Zhu Yen clan was close to the ape clan. In that case, then it's no wonder he was on good terms with the Thunder God clan. They even called each other brothers. Of course, other people thought from Futian. When countless people saw the warrior of the Thunder Sect fall, they looked up towards the Zhu Yen Demon Crown Prince who stood in the air with a long stick in hand, his whole body shining. The ignited hope of the 8 Thunder Law sects seemed to have been extinguished again. They had wounded the Taotai beast and the big demon beast of the Thunder God clan. If they continued sending warriors to challenge, it was possible to be victorious. If the Zhu Yen Demon Crown Prince was so powerful, however, how could they fight? With a single blow, he could severely injure and incapacitate a warrior. It was clear that the Zhu Yen Demon Crown Prince was much stronger than the other 2 big demon beasts. Anyone else? The Zhu Yen Demon Crown Prince said coldly and proudly, a pair of golden eyes full of contempt. Boom! Thunder light illuminated the sky. Another Thunder Sect warrior stepped out, concentrating the Thunder Law in his hands. Expecting his arrival, The Zhu Yen demon crown prince Yao wielded the long stick in his hand as his body hovered in the void sky. Countless shadows of his appeared in the space alongside tens of thousands of stick shadows. Another strike came, followed by tens of thousands of stick shadows. The might of the great law befell. People stared at where they collided. When the sound of thunder rang out, they saw the warrior's body fly backward and loudly fall back to the ground, his body twitching. Bang! The Zhu Yen demon crown prince stepped into the void sky and landed on the edge of the celestial demon arena. His golden eyes full of divine flame swept towards the crowd, fixed on several figures in the distance. Would those cultivators of the top human forces remain idle? Above the sky shone the light of thunder, and a group of people approached from a distance. The leader looked toward the Zhu Yen demon crown prince, his eyes like lightning. At that moment, both demon beasts and human cultivators also looked to that side. Warriors of the 8th Thunder Law Orthodox sects all looked towards the skydome. Seeing those people stopped their movement right above them in the sky. They were cultivators of the Violet Heavenly Palace. They hadn't expected that they needed to show up at the first stop, the celestial demon city of the demon realm. They thought that the 8th Thunder Law Orthodox sects would be enough to cope with them, but the Zhu Yen demon crown prince was more difficult to deal with than expected. More people were coming from other directions, to which many demon beasts gave way. In one direction, a group of gorgeous women showed up. They were like fairy goddesses, captivating several people. Many warriors guarded around them, separating those covetous demon beasts from the goddesses in case the latter were affected. Cultivators of the Brahma's pure sky. The excited crowd talked about them. It seemed that people of the top forces were ready to show up. Another group of figures in gorgeous robes also showed up, all of them with a transcendent temperament. Demon beasts voluntarily gave way to them, and the vast space was occupied only by human cultivators. These people were from the Heavenly Mandate dynasty. Their intimidating gaze swept towards the Zhu Yen demon crown prince in the void sky. As the top forces of the Heavenly Mandate realm, they knew more things than most people. The Zhu Yen clan once was also very powerful. Although the Zhu Yen demon emperor was not a demon emperor of the highest rank, he was still prominent in the demon realm. The demon crown prince seemed to have inherited the demon emperor's talent and was overbearing, but if he wanted to stop them, then he was biting off more than he could chew. The top forces of the Heavenly Mandate realm would have lost dignity if they personally fought with him. Up in the sky, the Zhu Yen demon crown prince glanced towards these people with a pair of golden eyes as the fighting will from his body dripped down. Finally, they showed up. Just then a voice rang out and said, "The 8th Thunder Law Orthodox sects of the Heavenly Mandate realm all inherited from the Violet Heavenly Palace. Is this all you can do?" Everyone turned to find that the ones who spoke were those of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty in stunning clothes. There were not many people coming from the Heavenly Mandate dynasty, and the people around them were all talented royal warriors ruled by the Heavenly Mandate dynasty. In the central area of the Heavenly Mandate realm, the Heavenly Mandate dynasty ruled several forces that once prospered, some of which were similar to the 8th Thunder Law Orthodox forces such as the Purple Underground sect. The Heavenly Mandate dynasty had the right to direct governance and was the strongest power in the Heavenly Mandate realm. It once stood on the political apex of Heavenly Mandate realm. However, the Heavenly Mandate dynasty was brought to ruins after battling with Gu Tianxing, and its power was greatly weakened. Now it no longer had an advantage over the other 4 top powers. There are forces in the Heavenly Mandate dynasty, but why have I never seen any of you lend us a hand? Zhang Chongqing replied. Although they came from the Heavenly Mandate dynasty, the Purple Underground sect was not under their influence. The dynasty didn't dare to touch the 8th Thunder Law Orthodox sects. Even though the Purple Underground sect was in awe of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty, he didn't fear them. The warrior of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty glanced at Zhang Chongqing and said, "This time in the event of the 8 Divine Mountains, there were 2 people who broke records. Why don't you let them fight?" This time there was another person besides Yi Futian who broke the Heavenly Thunder record of Divine Mountains, in the God-slaughtering mountain. The thunder law inherited by the God-slaughtering mountain was the overbearing power of the demonic thunder of Lucian. The name of the person who broke the mountain was Wang Chao, who was now the direct disciple of the god-slaughtering clan Renhuang. Now he was also in the crowd. However, the god-slaughtering clan didn't plan for Wang Chao to fight. This person who had broken the record was considered a significant talent that the god-slaughtering clan would especially raise. If there was no guarantee, they did not want him to fight against the Zhu Yan demon crown prince. As for the other person who broke the record, Yi Futian didn't even join the 8th Thunder Law sect. Zhang Chongqing looked somewhere else. Because demon beasts had retreated from this area, Yi Futian looked quite conspicuous. He was just standing nearby. Besides Yi Futian, there was the Verdant Gazelle Palace Lord, the bull beast and warriors of the Demon Peacock Emperor's realm. They were all demon beasts. The scene made Zhang Chongqing look puzzled. Had he figured out the connections between the other demon clans? Besides, many of the demon beasts around him were quite powerful. Although Kong Xian's life force was not strong, Zhang Chongqing could tell she was of unusual origin from her outstanding temperament and beauty. She probably was a demon emperor's offspring who was born to be able to transform. You have been forbidden to cultivate in Thunder Law. Now, are you going to join the demon realm? Zhang Chongqing said to Yi Futian. Yi Futian, who had been watching the battle quietly, did not expect that he would get involved. He looked at Zhang Chongqing from a distance and said, I cultivate in whatever fields I like. What does it have to do with you? Also, it's my own business whether or not I cultivate in Thunder Law. Why do I need you to tell me to stop? The moment Yi Futian finished speaking, the warriors' eyes all fell on him. They all knew something about Yi Futian. The man who broke the record of Wutu Divine Mountain was now staying with demon beasts. Was it because he knew he had no future in the Heavenly Mandate realm? Since you chose not to join the Thunder Orthodox sect, you have volunteered to give up cultivating in Thunder Law, other Saint Plain warriors said. Did you create Thunder Law? Yi Futian rebutted. The 8 Thunder Law Orthodox sects were humiliated on the Celestial Demon Arena, so they now turned to him? If a disciple of the Violet Heavenly Palace claimed that he should no longer cultivate in Thunder Law, did it mean he was no longer allowed? Since when did a disciple of the Violet Heavenly Palace have the right to decide his path of cultivation? All Thunder Laws of the world originated from the Violet Heavenly Palace. The Thunder Law of the Tutu Divine Mountain also belonged to the Violet Heavenly Palace, Zhang Chongqing said, staring at Yi Futian. Since you have refused to join the Heavenly Palace, you are not allowed to use the Thunder Law to cultivate. Don't think you can forget about it after joining the Demon Clan. His tone was jarring and aggressive. Before I entered Wutu Divine Mountain, no one said that I had to join any Thunder Law sects if I entered the Wutu Divine Mountain, Yi Futian responded coldly. Was what you said about Violet Heavenly Palace's tenet of preaching the Thunder Law to the world to let all cultivators learn Thunder Law a lie? You are too presumptuous, the warriors of the Violet Heavenly Palace said coldly. They looked down at Yi Futian in the void sky. Demon beasts around them looked confused. Were these human spiritual cultivators fighting amongst themselves? The Zhu Yan Demon Crown Prince also showed interest. He walked back to the top of the stairs of Celestial Demon Arena and watched quietly. Yi Futian glanced up at the people of Violet Heavenly Palace. The light of thunder shone around his body, like the light of catastrophe. Before entering the Wutu Divine Mountain, I had already been cultivating in Thunder Law. Since you claimed the Wutu Infernal Thunder belongs to you, I will not use it. However, I have long been cultivating in Thunder Laws by myself. It is supposed to be one of the great laws between the sky and earth. Who has the right to keep me from cultivating it? Yi Futian looked at the figures in the void sky and replied indifferently, You, the so-called 8 Great Thunder Laws Orthodox sects, prohibited me to cultivate your Thunder Law. Are you sure I value it? Everyone around him was shocked by his words. Was he showing contempt to the 8 Thunder Law Orthodox forces? If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Zhang Chongqing stared at Yi Futian. Did he just say that the inheritance of infernal thunder of Wutu was beneath him? Zhang Chongqing stared at Yi Futian. Did he just say that the inheritance of infernal thunder of Wutu was beneath him? It was not just Zhang Chongqing, but all 8 orthodoxies of thunder methods were in the vein of the violet heavenly palace. Did this person despise the cultivation of their 8 orthodoxies of the thunder method? Master, who are these idiots? The black-winged condor next to Yi Futian said. How could they blatantly forbid his master's cultivation? A group of self-righteous morons, Yi Futian responded. People from the 8 major thunder clans stared at him. A might of authority shrouded the void, and the lightning flashed as if the thunder of heaven might descend from the sky at any time. I'd like to see how you dared to despise and humiliate our orthodox thunder method, Zhang Changqing said coldly. His sight directed toward another man, who stepped out and headed toward Yi Futian. As a saint of true self, he also wanted to see the true strength of Yi Futian, the one who had inherited the 1,000 strikes of heavenly thunder and broke the pole number. Boom! The infernal thunder of Wutu flashed with the sounds of thunder and explosion. Above the firmament, thunder cloud roiled. How aggressive was the might of the divine path that all the cultivators and demonic beasts around it retreated and gave up this space. The demonic beasts emitted a low, excited roar. Something interesting was afoot. These humans were powerless against their demonic crown prince, and now there was infighting. Yi Futian stared at the other with the same indifference. These 8 major thunder clans were brutally beaten to a bloody pulp by the crown prince, Zhu Yan. Now in an awkward position, they could neither advance nor withdraw. Were they now taking it out on him? Above the sky rang out muted sounds of thunder, and the infernal thunder of Wutu roared continuously, covering the space above Yi Futian. Yi Futian stepped forward as starlight flowed and revolved around his body, turning into celestial bodies. The heaven and earth seemed to morph into a world of stars, with each star flowing and dazzling. The cultivator of the purple underworld stretched out his hands, palms facing upward as if to hold up the heaven and the earth. The light of heaven and earth shone brightly and descended on his palms, gathering radiant brilliance. Boom! A bolt of lightning flashed through the void. Moving like lightning, he rushed toward Yi Futian. Both of his palms flipped and blasted out at the same time. The lightning in his palms instantly exploded, with sharp lights blooming and directly attacking Yi Futian. Boom! The sound of thunder broke through the sky as the infinite infernal thunder of Wutu gathered above the palms, blasting inside Yi Futian's body. The rolling thunder of the great path above the sky descended at the same time, striking upon Yi Futian's starry battle form. The light of the stars was dazzling and bright but still crackled. However, Yi Futian's body remained untouched. Endless lightning rushed into the light of the stars along the cracks, but he remained unshakable. Those who were around looked towards Yi Futian. Endless lightning and thunder released 1,000 yards of lightning that flooded the world, but his body was crystal clear as if it were immortal. As he withstood the might of thunder, he remained oddly still. The expression on the cultivator of the purple underworld changed slightly. As Yi Futian raised his palm, the sounds of explosions rang out. Endless great path lightning of catastrophe appeared between heaven and earth, gathering into the palm of his hand. As he clenched his palm into a fist, thousands of thunder and lightning bolts of catastrophe resembling swords tore through the void. Upon sensing the threat, the cultivator from the purple underground withdrew his body rapidly like an afterimage of the lightning. Even so, Yi Futian seemed to stick to him like a shadow that also turned into lightning, pushing its limit. The 2 men's bodies simultaneously crossed the void and appeared above the sky. The crowd saw Yi Futian's arms forward, his fists bathed in the light of endless thundering light of catastrophe. Boom! With a loud bang, the body of the cultivator from the purple underground stopped. The fist of thunder blasted on his chest. The devastating light of catastrophe burst into his body, then bloomed from every part of his body. Countless lightning bolts illuminated the void, making it difficult for people to open their eyes. With another loud bang, the body of the cultivator from the purple underground fell instantly to the ground. His twitching body was charred black, with his long hair standing on their ends. Blood seeped out of his mouth, left in a frightful expression. The face of the cultivator from the purple underworld looked unsightly. Although this cultivator was neither too strong nor too weak, Yi Futian managed to defeat him in one blow. Furthermore, The attack by his hidden infernal thunder of Wutu could not even pierce Yi Futian's defense. Zhang Chongqing and the others looked up at the figure in the void. Yi Futian also looked down at them with indifference and said lightheartedly, "Is this the inheritance of the purple underground? It is strong indeed." His sarcastic tone sounded particularly harsh. He was now the figure in the void clad in white. His silvery hair flowed in the air, his handsome visage displaying his apathy. Compared to the time at the purple underground, Yi Futian appeared even more unbridled and jaunty. At the time, Yi Futian had favors to ask of the emperor of the purple underground. Because of the many renhuang present at that time, he had suppressed his personality and true strength. Another figure stepped out and walked into the void. This person was also the saint of true self but with even stronger breath. As the thunder clouds rolled, a massive shadow of Thunder God appeared behind him with astonishing arrogance. This Thunder God phantom held a godly spear of thunder, and the thunder gathered above in the sky. With his palms outstretched, a godly spear of the Thunder God lashed out in his hand, emitting a bolt of devastating lightning. Yi Futian casually looked down at the other. With his palms extended, a long halberd formed. The thundering light of catastrophe gathered again and integrated into the long halberd, leaving space around it to tear all things. Bang! As Yi Futian stepped in the void, a mighty of the great path fell and shrouded the other. The cultivator with the spear only felt a strong sense of suppression oppressing him from above. Boom! Lightning skyrocketed across the sky and headed toward Yi Futian. Bang! Yi Futian took another step. At that moment, everyone vaguely felt that Yi Futian's demeanor was similar to that of Zhu Yan, the demonic crown prince. A flash of lightning slashed through like a streamer. Yi Futian's figure headed toward the cultivator of the purple underworld beneath, and the long halberd in his hand made a direct hit. That cultivator of the purple underworld did not evade but instead ascended into the sky. The overbearing illusion of the thunder god seemed to be integrated with him, and its strength increased multifold. The spear enlarged as the thunder method sword, suddenly colliding with Yi Futian's long halberd. A destructive glare of light came out. Through the bright beam, the crowd saw the thunder spear crumble and shatter. Yi Futian's long halberd directly impaled the thunder god's body, as easily as piercing bamboo. With a loud bang, the illusion of the thunder god ripped apart. As before, the body of the cultivator from the purple underworld fell to the ground, unable to move. One strike was all it took. Many people looked puzzled, while the people of the 8 major thunder clans looked extremely embarrassed, especially purple underworld. The fight ended with just one strike. If Yi Futian was merciless, both opponents would have died instantly. This scene was similar to when someone faced Zhu Yan, the demonic crown prince. "What method are you going to pass on to me?" Above the void, Yi Futian lowered his head and looked down, looking proud and unrelenting. He was banned from cultivating the thunder method. As Yi Futian said, did he really want the 8 major orthodoxies of the thunder method? Black Wind Condor's voice uttered from below, "Master, what kind of orthodoxy of thunder method is this? It's so strong." He had morphed into human form, but his head still looked condor-like. Its sharp voice sounded particularly piercing. Just now, they claimed to be the orthodox of the thunder method and wanted to forbid it from this master. How astounding! To them, the orthodoxy of the thunder method was meant to represent the cultivation of the thunder method of the great path. If one was unworthy of it, then they are not allowed to cultivate. Yi Futian responded sarcastically from the void. All the cultivators of the purple underworld felt their faces blackened. "You are out of line." A cultivator from the Golden Clan who practiced perilous thunder of Gengjin stepped out. As his body rushed straight into the void, a divine sword of thunder created by the gathering of all the perilous thunder of Gengjin appeared, converged above the sky, and slashed downward. He was also surrounded by several sharp divine swords. Yi Futian glanced at the void, and suddenly there were ancient characters all around his body, which seemed to contain the starry great path that orbited around his body. They flew out and exploded in an amazing power that collided with the divine sword as it came down, shattering the latter. The cultivator from the Golden Clan condensed the seal with his hands. Suddenly, the endless Gingjin divine sword turned into thunder and blasted out as if it wanted to tear apart the sky, rushing toward Yi Futian. Yi Futian kept flying forward. The endless ancient characters seemed to contain special rhythms. The starry will exploded in the ancient characters, each resembling a star that kept flowing and rotating before colliding with the endlessly divine sword that continued slaughter forward. The divine sword was pulverized. The cultivator of the Golden Clan yelled in anger, and all the ways returned into one. A large golden divine sword converged, rushing into the clouds and slashing toward Yi Futian. Boom! Yi Futian stepped in the void with a powerful stance. As he moved, the hundreds of thousands of the ancient characters of the world turned into a huge starry monument beneath his feet and descended from the sky, pressing down. In an instant, the cultivator from the Golden Clan felt deeply trapped by the starry world. The golden divine sword blasted on the stone monument and slowly shattered. With the starry monument continuing to press down, Yi Futian stepped onto the monument and descended with it. Oppressed all the way down, finally unable to bear it, the cultivator of the Golden Clan spat out a mouthful of blood, and his body fell. The ancient character descended one by one, blasted onto his body, and smashed him to the ground. It was still an easy finish. The person who fought on behalf of the Golden Clan was already an extraordinary character, yet he still experienced equally overbearing and instant defeat. They were not on the same level at all. Anyone else? Yi Futian bowed his head and looked down on the 8 major orthodox thunder clans below. Who could withstand the fight? The area suddenly fell silent. Most people were watching for the show, but they were also amazed by the arrogance of Yi Futian's fighting power. He could easily defeat even the geniuses of the 8 major thunder clans. This battle was enough to make the purple underworld unable to lift his head and lose face. Someone looked up into the sky. As the supreme force who inherited the power of the 8 major thunder clans, also known as the place with the most complete collection of all thunder methods, the Violet Heavenly Palace would come out and fight. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. People from the Violet Heavenly Palace looked downward towards Yi Futian, who was in the air. People from the Violet Heavenly Palace looked downward towards Yi Futian, who was in the air. Back when Yi Futian had rejected the Emperor of the Purple Underground and the Violet Heavenly Palace successively, everyone thought it was because of Gu Donglu. Now it seemed that there was a bit more to it than that. He was also more than confident in his own talents. He didn't think the Purple Underground would teach him anything, so he wasn't interested in going under the tutelage of the Emperor of the Purple Underground. Among the will that was revealed by Yi Futian in the battle, thunder was just one of them. There were also several different powers of the Great Path. His concentration was not solely in thunder. Entering Wutu Divine Mountain and breaking the pole number of Tianlei of Inheritance was all to meet the Emperor of the Purple Underground and plead for the release of his senior brother, Gu Donglu. He had no interest at all in cultivating the thunder method. When the 8 great divine mountains opened, 2 of them had their pole numbers broken. In this case, let the 2 people who broke them have a chance to exchange, the cultivator from the Violet Heavenly Palace said. Even then, the Violet Heavenly Palace still kept their pride. As the supreme force in the Heavenly Mandate realm, having to fight Yi Futian wouldn't have been a glorious event even if they won. After all, they were the real disciples who cultivated at the Violet Heavenly Palace. As the voice fell, many looked toward the direction of the God-slaughtering clan before turning to Wang Chao, who had submitted to the God-slaughtering clan. This man was exceptionally talented, and his combat power was just as aggressive. What would happen if the 2 record breakers fought? I came today for the news of Gu Tianxing, as all of you have come for the same purpose. Now, what is this? Another voice rang out as a group of fair ladies moved forward with their robes floating in the air, appearing holy and pure. The lady who spoke was a maiden under the Jiutian goddess. She glanced at Yi Futian and said, "I am aware that you had grievances with the 8 major thunder clan, but why bother provoking internal conflict if you came here for the same reason as everyone else? Wouldn't it have been better to break the matrix or go to the celestial demon arena for a challenge?" This maiden, who came from Brahma's pure sky, saw that Futian was an extraordinary fighter who possessed a sweeping power of the 8 clans that was as strong as that of the demonic crown prince Zhu Yan. He and Wang Chao, the 2 people who broke the pole number of the divine mountain, may have been able to break the great battle matrix on the celestial demon arena if they worked with the followers sent by other top forces. They might have even been able to defeat the demonic crown prince Zhu Yan. Futian glanced at the maiden who spoke. Like violet heavenly palace, Brahma's pure sky stood on the top of the heavenly mandate realm. Emitting an unusually transcendental temperament, these maidens seemed as if they were from another world. To this day, they were still as prideful as the violet heavenly palace, unwilling to dirty their hands. Perhaps they thought that, as maidens of the supreme power of the heavenly mandate realm, fighting against the demonic beasts of the celestial demon city was dishonorable. Such pride was etched in their bones. It also served as the foundation of the supreme power of the heavenly mandate realm. Even though he had crushed several disciples of the 8 major clans, both the violet heavenly palace and Brahma's pure sky believed he was still more suitable to challenge the celestial demon arena. Even if I break the matrix, what's it to you? Futian said. From her tone, it sounded as if breaching the matrix needed to be made public. What's more, I'm the one who provoked the infighting? Futian asked in return. The woman from Brahma's pure sky frowned, glancing at Futian. The black-winged condor came forward, looked up at Futian in the void and asked, Master, who are these fairies, so glamorous and unreachable like goddesses from the sky? Futian looked down at him. What was this guy thinking about now? Everyone else looked at him scornfully. The Mount thought that he was such a proud creature, but was just full of flattery. They're cultivators from Brahma's pure sky, Futian responded. Oh, the black-winged condor responded. Brahma's pure sky should be very strong, befitting the status of master. He looked at the fairies of Brahma's pure sky and said, Recently, my master needs a few maids. Might any of you ladies wish to serve him? My master will certainly treat you well. Everyone looked at the black-winged condor in shock, and for a while, many could not respond. Have the fairies of Brahma's pure sky serve Futian as his maids? Was this bastard crazy? No cultivator in the heavenly mandate realm would ever dare propose for the fairies of Brahma's pure sky to serve as maids, especially when there were saintly maidens among them. Kong Xian also silently looked at the black-winged condor in front of her, taken by a familiar feeling. In the past, she was once so angered by this bastard that Futian took the opportunity to gain control over the demonic beasts around her. Because of that, he obtained the ability to direct the battle for the empty realm. Now, she had so wanted to smash the bastard. The cultivators in the Heavenly Mandate dynasty burst into laughter. Even the royals of the Heavenly Mandate dynasty could only fantasize about the maidens of Brahma's pure sky serving as maids. Then this stupid beast dared to speak of it out loud. This seemed to pique the demonic crown prince Zhu Yan's interest. Futian and the beasts around him were amusing. Very interesting indeed. The expression on the faces of the maidens from Brahma's pure sky changed, but a few of them remained stoic. A maiden glanced at the black-winged condor calmly and smiled. Even if we are willing, you should ask your master if that is what he desires. If you fairies are willing to serve, I'll consider it, Futian said calmly. Many looked at Futian. This guy would have wanted it. Really? A maiden said with a smile, I'm afraid you won't have our services. Saying Brahma's pure sky itself was enough to overwhelm most cultivators in the heavenly mandate realm. He would ask the maidens of Brahma's pure sky to serve him as maids? He was crazy. Whether I can bear it or not, we will know once I tried it, Futian replied and turned around. No longer engaged with the other, he walked toward the celestial demon arena instead. He would accomplish what the 8 major thunderclans couldn't. Futian descended on the celestial demon arena and looked up at the sky above. The demonic crown prince Zhu Yan glanced down at Futian, looking somewhat surprised. When Futian was with the palace lord of the verdant gazelle palace before, he thought that Futian just wanted to obtain information through their relationship. Now, it appeared that Futian wasn't the type of person he expected him to be. He already promised the palace lord of the verdant gazelle palace that after this matter had been settled, he would consider giving him the information. Even under such circumstances, Yi Futian still chose to step onto the celestial demon area for the challenge. He didn't care to use such means but intended to rely solely on himself. From below, the palace lord of the verdant gazelle palace looked at Yi Futian. "Old bull, we've been wrong," the palace lord of the verdant gazelle palace said to the bull demon next to him. "Indeed, we were a bit off," the bull demon nodded. "I choose to break the matrix." Yi Futian said, much to everyone's surprise. Why didn't Yi Futian directly challenge the demonic crown prince Zhu Yan? Could the superior combat prowess of the demonic crown prince have deterred him? The previous battle matrix was just as mortifying, so it was probably very difficult to break. Permission granted, the demonic crown prince Zhu Yan nodded. Suddenly, several thunder dragons landed on the celestial demon arena, each thunder dragon letting out a low growl as the area turned into the thunder world of the Great Path. Thunder and lightning fell from above, and Yi Futian seemed incredibly small on the celestial demon arena. In Yi Futian's outstretched hand, a long staff manifested from radiant light shining on his palm. The demonic crown prince Zhu Yan glanced his way, and a peculiar look flashed through his golden eyes. Did this human cultivator actually know staff techniques? To think this couldn't get any more interesting. "Are you ready?" Yi Futian said. The cultivators of the Thunder Clan looked surprised. Was he asking them if they were ready? Boom! Terrifying might of thunder condensed and formed, turning into rolling thunder that slashed directly toward Yi Futian. Bang! Yi Futian stepped forward and turned into a thunderbolt, instantly disappearing from where he was a moment ago. Space manipulation. The eyes of everyone flashed, but the cultivators of the Thunder Clan still looked calm. Their sharp claws extended toward the sky above at the same time. A light screen of thunder appeared on the sky, and endless lightning struck down in an attempt to track down Yi Futian. However, everyone saw that Yi Futian was racing with the lightning. He moved so quickly that his figure was hardly visible. Above the sky, an extremely strong gust suddenly gathered, containing the mighty pressure of the great path within. The cultivators of the Thunder Clan all felt the pressure of its might. Their bodies enlarged, and divine thunder came out from their mouths. Above their heads, an impossibly giant thundering drum appeared. Divine thunder was spat out from the great mouth, converging together and blasting on the drum of war. In an instant, the void seemed to make crackling sounds. The bright light that would illuminate everything bloomed and radiated in all areas of the sky, leaving nowhere to hide. Among the thunderous light that annihilated the void, a bolt of lightning seemed to race through the thunder at the speed of sound. Even so, a thunderous light still hit the moving figure, and a brilliant light burst out. The figure did not slow down and continued flickering with every movement. As the wind and cloud roared, the might of the great path pressed down and shrouded the cultivators of the Thunder Clan. Above the sky, shadows of the staff were covering the sky, with each one appearing to be able to break open the ground. Numerous shadows of the staff blasted out at the same time, covering all the cultivators of the Thunder Clan. The demonic crown prince Zhu Yan shot out golden divine flames from his eyes, staring at where the endless shadows of the staff now covered everywhere. Bang bang bang. The loud sounds were heard almost simultaneously, and the battle matrix was instantly split up as the cultivators of the Thunder Clan resisted the staff techniques. Above the sky, Yi Futian appeared and struck out once again with the staff. The staff turned into 1,000 kilometers long and swept across the sky to sweep away all existence. Boom! The Thunder Dragon's massive bodies flew out backward. They let out low and angry growls as all of them were blasted out in a flash. The cultivators of the 8th Major Thunder Clan were intrigued by this scene. They had tried their best and fought the Celestial Demon Matrix with the technique of tag match to no avail. How could Yi Futian have done it in only 2 strikes? Even those of the supreme power became sharp. Yi Futian must have been quite stronger than expected. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.